What's up, guys? Back here, Archeage Unchained, and shout out to Todd who asked this question and decided to post a video about it, because if you are not a legacy player and you don't know how Archeage was in the past, you might be really confused on the whole alt situation. And I say situation because it's been a major issue in the past. So let's go over the basics of what alts are allowed, because that was his question. So in Archeage Unchained, you're allowed to have 3 accounts. You cannot be running the 3 accounts technically on the same computer at the same time. They have anti-cheating software that prevents you from loading up 2 accounts on the same computer at the same time. There are ways around this, I'm told, with the virtual machines, VMs for short. I personally haven't tested this. I personally don't know. I personally do not do this, but I'm pretty sure that it does work like that. So virtual machines will create essentially a new computer on your old computer, and it will act independently from what I understand. That's a way to get around that 3 account limit, supposedly. There's also, on this limit, it says 3 accounts per person per household, which means you can have more than 1 person in a household. You could have yourself, you could have your child, you could have your wife, you could have your best friend who lives with you, you could have a girlfriend who spends the night or whatever, etc., etc. You could have multiple people in your household. That allows you to have 3 more accounts per each person. Now, we don't know exactly how strict they are with this policy of multi-accounts. Because the people that really push it to the limit aren't going to talk about it, and they're not going to say, I got 20 accounts, I got banned, yada yada yada, or I got 20 accounts, I didn't get banned, Gamigo sucks. Because anytime if they were to say anything like that, that then brings a red flag to them, and then it puts them under scrutiny, and then more people will bitch and complain, and then Gamigo probably actually would ban them. Essentially, to my understanding, you could pretty much have unlimited accounts because of this 3 per person per household rule. How you would do this, not saying that I am doing this, but how I would do this and how I would recommend you to do this if you wanted to have 9 accounts, for example, is that you would need to make sure that each account has a different name on the accounts. Well, 3 of them. So your first 3 accounts have your name, your second 3 accounts have someone else's name, and your third 3 accounts have someone else's name. You would then need to have them all paid with different payment methods that all have those corresponding names on them. So if you're using a credit card, for example, your first accounts need to be paid with your credit card. The second 3 accounts need to be paid with that second person's credit card. The third 3 accounts need to be paid with the third person's credit card, and so forth. If you do that, I feel that there's no reason, again, this is speculation on my part because supposedly it's going to be bannable, but yeah. So I feel that if you do it that way, you will not get banned. I feel that you can have pretty much unlimited amount of accounts as long as you have different credit cards with different names on them. Technically, the rule is 3 per person, so 3 per person is technically the rule. Now let's talk about bannings. Bannings have happened to the leaderboards, and what has generally been seen and understood is that they look at the top 100. They've specifically said they look at the top 100 players, which I don't know if that's true or not. I definitely believe they look at the top like 20, top 10, because we've seen top players, you know, number 1, number 2, number 3, etc., get banned and then eventually deleted off the leaderboards. So manually, they probably have to look at these accounts. Manually, they have to inspect all kinds of transactions that they've done. And then they have to look back at like all accounts that they've banned, because they are banning accounts for gold selling, which means they are also banning accounts for gold buying. We know that the gold sellers are being banned because people are reporting mining bots in like starting zones like this in Archeage, etc., and they're being banned. It may take 2 weeks, but the mining bots are being banned. You're not seeing mining bots everywhere anymore. So with those mining bots being banned, they're also probably, so this is speculation because they don't release names or information on people that they've banned, they're probably banning all of the accounts associated with those mining bots. And then in regard to that, they're probably also looking at all of the sales and transaction history that those bots / IPs have done, sending gold, sending mails, etc. to other players, and then banning those players. And they're probably doing it the reverse way as well, which means they're looking at the top players and then also looking at everyone that they've interacted with. If they've interacted with HSKJJJJ and this guy just gave him 5,000 gold, they're probably going to be like, hey, that doesn't look like a real player. Let's look at HSJJJ, his account, see what's going on there. They see that HSJJJ doesn't do anything but mine ores or whatever. They see that he doesn't really move around. He doesn't interact. He doesn't talk. They're like, oh, so he's a Chinese mining bot or whatever kind of bot he's using to mine something or farm something. At that point, they end up banning HSJJJ, and then they ban the player, the top gear score player that has bought the money from HSJJJ. That would be my assumption on how this works. It's going to take time, especially if you have done any kind of support ticket. You realize that it takes them about a month to get back to your support tickets. So it's going to take time for them to investigate these things. And this is also why that they cannot investigate every single accounts on every single server, which is why my guess would be that they investigate about the top 20 players and then the rest are kind of somewhat safe. If enough people complain and send in reports, because you can report other players in game, you can also send in customer service report tickets like, hey, I think this guy's cheating, please take a look at him, etc. They won't get back to you on if they actually look at them, but they've said, and this is us believing what Gamigo has said, is that they do look at these reports and then these reports are useful to them. So if we take that as belief, as truth, then eventually they will get around to looking at these accounts. There might be a threshold of how many people need to report an account before it actually gets to a human and they start looking at it, because realistically you cannot have someone look at everybody's account that someone just simply right clicks on them. Let's find a person and show you this, because you can right click and then you can like, hey, report this person for cheating. There may also be a basic command still. Countdown. Yep. So here's the basic command. Report suspicious user. Reports players suspicious of using unauthorized programs. This report will be later verified by a GM. You can only report 5 characters per day, and you can't report the same character twice. Any abuse of the reporting system will be met with serious consequences. So if you're trying to just get someone banned for no reason, just because you like them, it says it's going to give you consequences. I just saw a player run by us, so let's go take a look and try and actually report him. I'm not going to physically finish the report, but I just want to show you exactly how you would do this. So you click on the player, you click on right click on his name, and right here down here is report suspicious user. This will bring up the report tab. And so as reported will be submitted to customer service. Available report limits reset at 24. So this probably means that after 24 hours, you can send in more reports. So if you're kind of like a bounty hunter reporting all these bots and cheaters out there, supposedly, your report limits will actually reset in 24 hours. And you can report and send a message on what the heck's going on. So you can see you can report 5 a day, report history. And we've reported one person already. So my assumption is that they would eventually investigate someone if they get, 15 reports or 20 reports. Whatever that number is, they'll investigate them. And then at that certain point, they might be like, okay, yeah, this guy's cheating. We're going to get rid of him. We're going to ban his account. That would be my guess, my assumption, because we don't know the inner workings of how they ban accounts or how they action accounts. They do ban some accounts. That has been proven. Gamigo has done a better job than Tryon Worlds has on banning accounts. But again, we don't know the full aspects, and of course they can't tell us everything because of privacy issues, and because also you don't want just like harassment issues. If someone is cheating on one server, but on the other 6 servers that character name is completely legitimate, you don't want that person to get spammed with like, hey, you're a cheater, and then all these reports come in and be like, what the heck, this guy was cheating, he's a confirmed cheater. Yeah, you don't want that harassment going on. There's already enough harassment that happens in the game, so you don't want to add to that layer. They also don't want people to circumcise, I believe that's the word, circumvent the cheating system. And if they know what the thresholds are, for example, gold selling, we don't know how they track the gold. They say they track the gold through all kinds of different means, etc., yada, yada, yada. My guess would be that they have a system in place that they would look at anyone that has received like over 500 gold. There's going to be, in my opinion, a certain number of gold that is transferred between accounts via the mail system or via trade that is suspicious, and that will flag the account. Once the account has been flagged, they will then have a customer service rep investigate the account to see if the gold is legitimate, see what's going on there, see if it's gold buying, gold selling, etc. That would be my guess on what they do. And if everyone knows that the threshold is, say, 500 gold, for example, you would simply get around it by sending 499 gold and doing that multiple times, because that 499 is under the threshold of 500, and that would mean that it doesn't flag anything and it doesn't report you as a suspicious user, and you can just bypass the system. So there's a lot of ways, if you know the exact system, you can cheat the system, and hence why this stuff is held to the vest. They don't tell us exactly what's going on with everything, because they don't want the cheaters to get around this. Because pretty much any system can be exploited and abused. So there you have it. Hopefully that answers all your questions. Let's go on. I'm going to make another video since this is already getting long. We'll talk about why alts are beneficial in the other video. But yeah, because this one's already long, and we ranted about cheating softwares and multi-accounts and etc. So we'll make another video about why alts are beneficial, why you want alts, and what to use your alts for. Alright guys, I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.